This is a podcast from the Fitzwilliam Museum, Cambridge.
Hello, my name's Esther Morgan. I'm a Hub Communications Officer for Renaissance East of England. Renaissance is a government funding programme that supports regional museums and also supports Museums and Galleries Month, which I'm here to talk about. It happens every May, and it's a big opportunity for public to come into museums if they don't usually visit and just see that we're about more than dusty objects in cases, that actually there's an awful lot happening in our museums, a lot of exciting events. And the East of England is no exception. The theme for this year is ideas and innovation. And here in the East of England, we decided to give a Chinese twist to this theme. Chinese inventions have actually influenced our way of life enormously here in the West. The way we dress, silk is a Chinese invention. The way we do business, they came up with the idea of a postal service and also paper money. Our daily life, what we eat and drink, tea and noodles, scissors even. So there's a huge amount of Chinese technology that we just take for granted. And of course, also, the Chinese theme fits in very well with the Beijing Olympics, which is coming up obviously later on this year, and the Cultural Olympiad that starts in the UK immediately after the Games close. So we've put together a really exciting programme for you. We're calling it China East. It's not as far as you think. The idea is that you don't have to go all the way to China to experience their culture. Collections across the East of England are rich in Chinese technology and artistry. Museums can act as a meeting point for different cultures and traditions. So China East really is about as much as understanding ourselves as it is about understanding China in a way. It's about that meeting point, about that influence which Chinese culture has had on our way of life. There are many, many events in museums across the region, everything from fan making to dragon dancing. And this is a real taster for what's up and coming in the region later on this year. I'm also based at Norfolk Museum and Archaeology Service in Norwich. It's particularly relevant to us, the China East theme, because later on this year we're opening 2 new decorative arts galleries at Norwich Castle Museum and Art Gallery, and those will feature many objects from China and also British pieces that have been influenced by Chinese design and decoration. We've got quite a number of events on porcelain. Porcelain was a Chinese invention. Visitors to Norwich Castle will be able to find out more about how the West discovered the secret of making porcelain. We've got an artist-led activity for all the family called Paint Your Own Porcelain, where you can have a go at creating your own hand-painted masterpiece. We've also got some great events on the subject of fans. Families will particularly enjoy some costumed guides who are going to show you how to say various things using a fan. There's a whole language of fans which is absolutely fascinating. And at the Bridewell Museum we've got a special event on Chinese medicine. Finally, at Norwich Castle Study Centre, visitors will get the chance to see our conservation team at work. They're doing a lot of work conserving very delicate objects for display. So people get a chance to have a behind the scenes tour. So we're really looking forward to Museums and Galleries Month here. We hope that you'll come along and experience all the exciting things that's on offer.
My name's Julia Tozer and I'm Head of Education here at the Fitzwilliam Museum. This year during Museums and Galleries Month we've got a very varied programme including workshops for adults, one which is called Botanic Beauty, and we've borrowed some plants from the Botanic Gardens, and this will be on the back of our exhibition Made for Exports of Chinese 19th century works. We've got Chinese calligraphy happening for adults too. For families we've got storytelling in the galleries themselves. We've got workshops on fan making, and you can even come make your own dragon in a workshop. Also, throughout the month, staff in the museum have been invited to write their own and often quite personal labels for work here that they particularly like. So visitors can follow that trail, which will take them to all sorts of unexpected things in the museum. Towards the end of the month, for a whole week, we've got something which I'm really pleased about because it's something we've commissioned especially for the museum. Theatre group Indefinite Articles are putting on a play called The Dragon's Pearl, which is based on work in the collection and specifically in the Chinese collection. What's really lovely about their work is that all their equipment's very low tech, so they use overhead projectors and make fantastic patterns and shadows from them. They'll be using Chinese cut-out dragons and apparently a vat of blue ink.
My name is James Lin, Assistant Keeper of Applied Arts at the Fitzwilliam Museum, Cambridge. This May, we are going to have a small exhibition on Chinese Imperial Jade in the Chinese Gallery. Jade has been used in China for more than 7,000 years, since Neolithic period, and Chinese people always believe that jade is the material can protect the body. The high-ranking individual will bury lots of jade on top of their body. And in the Han Dynasty, that is 200 BC, imperial family member even buried so-called jade suit. The whole body was encased inside a suit that made of jade, supposedly to protect them in the afterlife. The museum had more than 200 Chinese jade and heart stones, and luckily we have about 20 pieces from the imperial collection from 18th century, originally from the Forbidden City. And most of jade has emperor's inscription, a point, and inside on the edge of the jade or underneath they have some imperial mark. So they are very rare and very important to the Chinese art history.
My name's Belinda Farrell and I'm the International Cultural Festival Manager for Essex County Council. China East is a particularly suitable theme for us at the moment, as Essex is just about to begin the Essex Jiangsu Festival in June this year. Essex County Council has a link with Jiangsu province in China, next to Shanghai on the Yellow Sea, and the county's had a link with the province for about 20 years now, and it started within the education sector and has really developed from there to a point at which now we've got about 63 schools in Essex that have a partner school in Jiangsu in China, and is continuing. So this is part of a developing relationship which we hope will continue for many years to come. So we're kicking off in June at the House of Commons and an exhibition of photographs from Jiangsu, which is part of a reciprocal photographer exchange project. Braintree Museum, I've got a Chinese storyteller happening in May. We've got 4 companies coming direct from Jiangsu in China. We've got the Yangzhou Puppets, Little Red Flowers, which is a troupe of dancers and singers, children aged between 8 and 12. We've got the Nanjing Mastercrafts group coming over who will demonstrate and do workshops in paper cutting and mask making, kite making and lanterns. And then in January 2009 we've got the Kunshu Opera coming to Essex. One of our main highlights is the terracotta exhibition at Colchester Castle Museum. Essex sent over a delegation to Jiangsu to start talks about having a cultural festival back in October 2006, and Miriam Stead, Arts and Heritage Manager for the council, had read a tiny little bit in one of the rough guides about these terracotta figures in Suzhou, which is up in the north of Jiangsu. So she went up and had a look at them back then, and that's what started it all off. So they've never been to the UK before, and we were thrilled that Colchester Castle Museum were up for the challenge, which is going to be one of the biggest exhibitions I think that Essex has ever seen. Essex is really pleased to be able to offer this festival. We hope you can get along to see us. Check our website for details, and we look forward to seeing you at some of the events.
Well, as you've heard now, China East is happening in May all across the east of England. It's a really exciting programme. Most of it's free, so come along, enjoy China East, enjoy Museums and Galleries Month, and we'll really look forward to welcoming you.